Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Chernobylite. Is that the light version of Chernobyl? No. Chernobylite is a science fiction survival horror RPG. It is both developed and published by the Farm 51, and, well, the first thing that I want to mention, and I think the first thing that needs talking about when it comes to this game, is that Chernobylite is not a Stalker clone. It is not trying to be Stalker, it is not trying to have anything to do with Stalker, it is not developed by the same people that have developed Stalker. This is a very different experience. Sort of one of the key selling points, I would say, of the game is that it is set in a hyper-realistic 3D scanned wasteland of the Chernobyl exclusion zone. However, this exclusion zone is a little bit modified, shall we say. And what I mean by that is, this isn't just a walk through Chernobyl kind of game. It's not a walking simulator, it's boy, it's complicated. First things first though, let's take a look at the options menu. That's fairly simple. Extremely creepy as well. This game is creepy. This game is terrifying. And I'm going to show you very little of it. I'm going to try and make this a very brief video telling you what the game is like, what it's about, whether it's worth your time, and then I'm going to try and show you as little as I can of the actual game itself, because I don't want to spoil anything, because it's really awesome. Alright, game options. You have survival difficulties, which go from very easy to insane. Yeah, when you actually start a new game, I've set this up on... I think I've set this up on medium in the actual game. I don't think it matters if you change it here. I think you don't really change it when you start. Maybe it does. Anyways, doesn't really matter. Audio language, I recommend setting it to Russian with the subtitles on. The English dub isn't bad, but I feel like the Russian voice actors do a better job. The subtitles are relatively accurate and decent. I've noticed a couple of problems with it. For example, the word "geroi" in Russian means hero. It is translated as "geroi." No, it's literally like just transcribed. It's not translated. So yeah, that's sort of the biggest issue I've noticed with the subtitles. But other than that, they're actually really accurate. I mean, I'm no expert with when it comes to the Russian language, but I do speak it. So, anyways, some options here as well. Audio options, a couple of different sliders, different audio devices, very nice. Video options, you obviously have your gamma settings, which I always find confusing in video games, because like this is supposed to be barely visible, but it's barely visible like from here to here. That doesn't exactly help me. Anyways, I'm going to keep it like this. Advanced video settings, plenty of them. Thankfully, I can turn off motion blur. You also have DLSS, AMD FSR 1.0. I know what DLSS is, I don't know what this is, I'll be completely honest with you. So, if it has options that I don't know what they are, terrific. Different details here, draw distance, which we can increase a little bit, but 100% draw distance is really far, so no need. And the regular video settings... Look at this! Look at this! I know a certain YouTuber, you know, God rest his soul, that would just lose his mind over the brilliance of this. It goes from 70 to 120. What a brilliant FOV slider. I have it at 110. That's where I think between 100 and 110 is where I play video games and feel most comfortable. 90 I think is probably what I should have it for YouTube, because people have different preferences. 90 seems to be like a good solid number for everyone. It's not too high for anyone, it's not too low for like 90% of the people probably, as a viewing experience, but I feel very comfortable with 110. Anyways, user interface. Oh yeah, you can do a lot with the user interface. The only thing that, I mean, if I'm really gonna nitpick the options menu, I would like this to have a third option, which is enabled only when you use ammo. So like, hood when you need it, hide when you don't, to use a phrase from another YouTuber that makes UI mods for games like Skyrim and Fallout and stuff like that. Gopher, you can check him out if you want. Terrific guy, love him, love his content. Anyways, yeah, I would love that option. I think that'd be very cool, but maybe with a mod or something. Anyways, the options menu is phenomenal. Let's go into the actual game and talk about that for a little bit. So the game has a story, and the story is not just tagged along to the content and to the survival elements, and then you just sort of, you know, experience a little bit. No, the game has a really central and important story which drives your character forward and your progression forward, and really the game is open world. There's a lot of exploration, there's a lot of survival, collecting different resources and stuff. The loading menu. The game has all of that, and it's brilliant, but the story is really, really important. Anyways, we're here at the very beginning of the game. I've done the tutorial, I've done the first few, maybe the first hour and a half, maybe, of going through the motions and all of that. And now we're in the open phase of the game. Now the game actually starts. So, here's what you do. The sort of environment and movement and all of that kind of remind me of Tarkov a little bit more than anything else. First of all, the game has horror elements. The game has monsters and all sorts of things. The game is open world. The game also has human enemies. The NRA, I think they're called. Or the NAR. No, the NAR. Anyways, all of that is present. All of that exists. You also have your pistol. So I have a standard Russian revolver here, and I don't expect to be killing much with it. We're currently on an ammo run. We need to collect some ammo for our survivors, and I think that's it as far as the mission is concerned. Now, the game itself has sort of two phases, if you will. One is this, the mission. You pick a mission and you go on said mission. It could be ammo retrieval, it could be finding food, it could be a whole host of things. The second type of, or the second feature, if you will, or the second thing to do in the game, is base building. Base building is a separate thing on its own. Again, it kind of reminds me of Tarkov in that you upgrade your hideout and all of those things. So when you do that, you collect, or rather you use all the different things that you've collected throughout your missions, and all the different things that your friends have collected throughout the mission. You have like NPC friends, and you use that to upgrade your base. You make beds, crafting areas, all sorts of things. There's a million different upgrades that you can do at the base. The UI for base building is questionable, right? It gets the job done, but on mouse and keyboard, I mean, Q and E are the things you select to go left and right, and then F is forward. I kind of feel like something like a Fallout 4 UI system with base building would have been a little bit more intuitive. Because, like, you want to go up in the menu, but you have to go use, which is F, and it's kind of... It's a little bit confusing and a little bit hard to get used to at first. Anyways, those are sort of the minor technical details of the game. Let's talk about the actual gameplay. The actual gameplay is this, along with the main story missions. So the main story missions I will not comment, though. Like I said, they're a little bit more scripted, I feel like, which is, I guess, normal. It'd be weird if they weren't. Probably be bad if they weren't, honestly. I mean, like, I guess through this as well, like, how do you navigate to others? You'd sort of expect to do it with the mouse wheel, right? No, you don't. It's a special button, so... Could be better, could be worse, I suppose. Anyways. There's a load of different markers. And I'll be honest with you, I'm mildly terrified, given the fact that I know how creepy the game is, which is the next topic of conversation, right after the visual sort of aspects, the graphical fidelity and all of that. Why am I talking about the sort of key selling features last? I want to build up to them, because I want to sort of give you a complete picture of just why this game is creepy and why it's so good. Graphically, the game looks good. The game looks actually really good. can see the ground, that's very neat, and you can see the shrubbery, the leaves, the houses. High graphical fidelity for a game. It does look like a modern game. And then there's the sort of more elusive aspect, graphically, which is the atmosphere. Oh boy, the atmosphere. Well, first of all, I think one of the most terrifying things about this game is that it is 3D rendered actual Chernobyl. This house, in all due likelihood, exists, and you can go to it. You're not going to find monsters in there, at least as far as I know, and there are some areas that have been modified. For example, there is like a really fantasy-looking area with a bunch of, with a tree in the middle and like a gaping hole to the center of the earth around it, and there's storms of like weird green energy and irradiations and stuff like that, which have been added on later, but the sort of basis of the game, these vehicles, these houses, the especially accurate is the actual area of Pripyat and the actual area of oof, okay, here I'm gonna need to get this out. No, sorry, no, sorry, no. Not doing that, sorry. First time in Chernobyl, I'm not going into, like, or first time in the sort of open world, unscripted area, I'm not going into a random basement. Sorry, I can't do that, I'm sorry. So, you're gonna have to go. Look, I know. And the marker's in the basement. Okay, let's go to the basement of an underground, random, creepy house. I should probably explain the tools. First one that you get is this. It's a radiation scanner. The game also makes quite a few references to Chernobyl, the TV show. So this is like 3.6, not great, not terrible. They literally say that. The other thing you get is a portal gun. It doesn't work the way you think it works. It's not the portal gun from Portal. It creates wormholes, but under very specific circumstances, and I haven't been able to use it freely yet. So, I don't know if I will be able to. Oh, by the way, you can build stuff in the actual open world as well, which terrified me only a little bit. And then we need a lockpick to open that, unfortunate. Let's go deeper into the bunker! I don't appreciate the music, I really don't. I really don't appreciate the music. I'm sorry, I had commentary and plans and everything, but this is just way too creepy. 1x, what's that mean? There are also some contextual clues in the game which aren't translated into English, unfortunately, so, yeah. Oh, and your torch is rather limited. Bit of a trope. Bit of a horror game trope. Unfortunately, but it only adds to the feeling of being utterly terrified. So, I'll get to that right now. It's easy to scare people with jump scares, right? You're just walking down the road, something falls out of the sky on top of your head, and it's a screaming demon or whatever, and you go, ah, and you're scared. That's cheap, first of all, and it's the kind of horror that doesn't linger, which means it's not as bad. What do I mean by that? Well, there's jump scares in video games that I've had, you know, I've probably seen hundreds of them in different video games. I don't even play that many horror games. But I don't remember any of them, right? You sort of move past it, you go, okay, or you have a more visceral reaction to it and you start wailing your hands around and whatever, and the moment it's gone, you sort of forget about it, because there's nothing... It was sudden. The sort of sudden shock effect of it was the only thing that jump scare had going for it. What this game does is, it has a few jump scares, just to keep you honest, right? It gives you a couple of jump scares. To make you not feel very comfortable, because if you know that all the horror is going to be just creepy, then, you know, what's the point? You sort of lose on the effect. It's the suddenness that you're most terrified of, but it's the... See what I'm talking about? Is the anticipation of that suddenness that, that gets to you the worst, I think. Anyways, my point being... the game is exceptionally creepy, and then, every now and again, very rarely, it hits you with a jump scare. Sometimes those are scripted, sometimes those are not scripted. But there are different types of monsters, there are different types of guns. By the way, for the survival elements, not only can you build stuff in the open world like this, or on missions like this, you can also build stuff with in terms of gear. So you can upgrade your weapons, you can customize them, add sights, extend magazines, all sorts of things, really. Truly a vast experience. Right, okay. Can I save here? Yes, I can. Thank you. Okay. Luckily, the AI isn't great at detecting you. Staying in foliage and stuff like this will keep you more or less invisible towards them, breaking line of sight. All work and no play make Vladimir a dull boy. And chockload of references just to keep things a little bit, I don't want to say light-hearted, but... Yeah, anyways, I feel a little bit better now that I'm just dealing with crazy soldiers rather than anything else. So I'm going to be using... Whoops, okay. I'm going to be using a few quotes from... You should just walk past. You should just walk past, turn around, and then I'm going to be able to get him. There he goes. Shite. I didn't know there was another one, I didn't know there was another one, I didn't know there was another one. Okay. Thought I could do that very stealthily in the bushes. Turns out I made a lot of noise. If I do this, does it give me a... No. Okay, the scanner, by the way, you're supposed to use to find... There's a lot of soldiers here, I wasn't expecting this. I think that's all of them. Yeah, the weapons used biometric scanners, so you can't pick up the weapons from dead soldiers and use them. I'm assuming there's going to be a way to hack those biometric scanners or do something with them so that I can use the actual weapons I pick up. But yeah. Oh, there's something over there that we should check out. Probably the drop I'm looking for. Yep. And that is the food drop that I was looking for. Okay, now is there a map? Yes, there is. So there's different unknown things throughout the map, as you can see. I should probably go up there and see what that is. Ah, so use the portal generator to go back, basically just to end the mission. Okay. Cool. Maybe it'll be a little bit interesting if you could use the portal gun to, like, create shortcuts between places. But maybe that's not the greatest thing ever. The one negative thing I have to say about the game is that the shooting feels a bit weird. It's not bad, it gets the job done, and besides, combat isn't, you know, contrary to what you just saw, combat isn't the primary way of getting things done. It's stealth, there's a lot of exploration, you're not going to be shooting all that often. However, it does feel a little bit clunky and I don't know, mushy, I guess, is one word is one way of describing it. Let's say there's a guy right there and you want to shoot him. You do this, and your character feels like he's hovering a little bit, you know what I mean? Movement is a little bit, I mean, okay, movement I expected to be this slow, but, like, see, there's no real movement in the gun based on that, so that feels a little bit weird. Also, the way you transition between things and the way there's a slowdown feels a little bit, like, it doesn't feel snappy, you know what I mean? It feels like he's very leisurely about it. And what's furthermore, the speed at which he does it is a little bit weird, because, like, your whole body sort of slows down when you're doing this. Which I guess is not bad for accurate shooting at, like, 40, 50 meters with a pistol, but, like, when the guy's right next to me and I'm trying to hit him, and, like, look at this leisurely stance, it's a bit weird. And also, when you actually shoot, guns feel a little bit more like, I don't know, they don't feel they don't have as much of a kick, you know, it feels like I'm firing airsoft, to use the only sort of comparison known to me. It doesn't feel like a proper gun when you shoot, it doesn't have that sort of kick that I expected it to. With a revolver, that's a little bit less visible, because, I mean, it's a revolver, you know, it's difficult to get them wrong, you just get the way that it fires right, the animations, and you sort of have that kick simulated, but I shot an AK at full auto in the game, and it felt like shooting an airsoft AK. Very little recoil, which isn't necessarily bad or ahistorical. I mean, if you're really good at shooting AKs, you can control that recoil relatively well. I mean, you know, God knows Russian operators do, but still, at the same time, it felt just weak. The bullets had little punch in them, it just felt like, I don't know, it felt underpowered. That's my only criticism of the game so far, is that the gunplay is a little bit mushy and weird. Other than that, the creepiness of the game is beyond anything. Especially detailed are the areas in, like I said, Pripyat, and the actual Chernobyl nuclear power plant. There, everything, I mean, presumably everything in the whole map is a 1-to-1 scale of Chernobyl, but especially, like I said, the actual power plant, the control room, the different hallways, rooms leading up to the reactor, all of that. If you've seen Chernobyl, the TV show on, I believe it was on Netflix, or on HBO, I don't remember. Anyways, if you've seen it, you know it's truly a phenomenally done. Both TV show and then, by extension, this is phenomenally done, because you can identify, like, the very rooms that those people were sitting in the TV show. It's just a, you know, it's just a copy. It's just a video game copy of the actual thing. Anyways, let's see if we can't grab some more resources. Clue.
Осколок. Прозвище агента КГБ. Наверное, уже не удастся узнать, кто это был.
Interesting. Environmental storytelling. Get more of the story through collectibles and weird, creepy places. Now, I've picked a spot and time in the game where there's little in the way of monsters, but I've seen plenty of them to know that they exist and that they can pop out of anywhere. So I'm a little bit on edge. I'm assuming in terms of a viewing experience, this isn't as influential. I don't like that green mist. Green mist is usually demons. I should probably explain what Chernobylite is. Well, not the video game, but the word. It's a good translation of the Russian word Chernobylite. That's obviously not how they would pronounce it, but you get the idea. It doesn't actually mean anything. It's not, well, it means something in the video game, but it's not an actual word. Chernobylite is actually the material that you use in your weapon. Oh, not in your weapon, not the revolver, but in your, it's not a weapon, it's a teleporter gun, right? The wormhole creator thing. You use Chernobylite, and it's kind of like a rocky, wooden-ish kind of substance created from, I'm assuming, the radiation or whatever paranormal activity is happening here. The wormhole, I think, can also be used to travel through time, based on what I've seen. But again, is that a spoiler? I don't know, because the game isn't very explicit about it. The intro to the game is a little bit weird. You sort of piece together information, but then when you're actually let loose into the world, it starts making a lot more sense, and it's a lot more linear. Well, not linear, but it's a lot more streamlined and easier to follow. That said, let's talk about like what actually makes the game creepy. And I can't do this without spoilers, so I'm going to be using some quotes and well, paraphrases more likely from the Steam reviews, and also I'm going to be describing a few things that I've seen from different people's playthroughs, from the trailers, and so on and so forth. So, what makes the game actually creepy? The occasional jump scares, which keep you honest, make way for some really nasty stuff that sticks with you. I'll give you an example of probably one of the creepiest things I've seen in the game. You're walking around an abandoned building, you hear humming, you turn the corner, and there's a mother there with a bunch of children. As you approach, I think they turn into skeletons or whatever. They're just dead. Is that cliche? Honestly, I think yes, that is a little bit cliche. It doesn't matter though, because it bloody sticks with you and you're terrified. You are absolutely terrified as that happens. So, yeah. Alright, let's go over here, see what's going on. I have an alright amount of ammunition. Not enough for an extended firefight, but enough for a firefight. The music contributes greatly to the atmosphere as well. It really gives off those Stalker vibes, which is probably the only real point of similarity between Stalker and this. I do understand though why people buy this game hoping that it would be some not Stalker clone, but it would deliver a similar sort of experience. It really doesn't. This is a horror game. This is like, I want to say like Biohazard or Alien Isolation or something meets Tarkov, right? It's different. The fact that it's set in the zone, or the Chernobyl exclusion zone, does lend itself well to having some sort of similarities in atmosphere and what have you, but not really. Okay, what the hell is this? Hands up.
Привет, уважаемый коллега. Я кое-кого ищу. Такой высокий, Сгорбленный мужчина с длинными темными волосами. Может, ты его видел?
Увы, как-то не довелось. А что такое?
Я ищу своего брата, Афанасия. Он недавно исчез без следа. Я уже все тут обыскал.
А что вы вообще тут делаете? Зона. Опасное место.
Ну, наши секреты я раскрывать не буду, но, скажем так, в Припяти есть много бесхозных ценностей.
Правда? Например?
У тебя хорошая аура. Ты и сам все узнаешь.
Аура хорошая. Ну ладно. Я тоже кое-кого ищу. Может, и брата твоего найду.
Благодарю. Пусть удача улыбнется тебе и поможет в поисках.
Спасибо, I guess. Exchange food for resources, exchange food rations for gear. So the problem is I don't know how many food rations I've
Счастливого
got,
пути, друг мой.
so I'm just gonna leave.
Да. И возьми вот это. Как знать, может пригодиться.
Lockpick. Yeah, figured. Figured it would be a lockpick, and there's probably a thing to use it on, isn't there? Now the question is, do I want to use it on this, or do I want to use it on this? It would be kind of silly not to use it here. I feel like the game wants me to use it here. And perhaps just perhaps we'll find a few more lockpicks in the new area we've unlocked. Or maybe not. Yeah, well, there is a crafting station, so... Ooh, okay, interesting. Primitive armor, camouflage armor, metal armor, or a metal plate, rather. Huh. So this will give 3 protection, but it will reduce my camouflage. This will give me camouflage, but give me also less protection. Requires metal plate to operate. So can we craft 1 metal plate? And then do this. I probably shouldn't have crafted the metal plate, I already have a few, but alright. And then use, or rather put on. There we go, and now I have metal armor with just a tiny bit of protection, but I'm assuming it's better than what I had previously, which was, yeah, nothing. Okay. Good. Good. Food rations. I have 8 food rations. I don't think I need 8 food rations. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and talk to the locksmith again. Provided he isn't mad that I stormed in and picked up all that stuff. Maybe it was his. No, it wasn't. Okay. Whoa, that's a little bit weird. Let's exchange food rations for gear.
Что-нибудь, ну, поинтереснее?
А я уж думал, ты не спросишь.
Tactical armor, 1 lockpick for 2 food rations. Let's get 1 lockpick for 2. Yeah, 1 ceramic plate for 1 food ration, 1 tactical armor for 4 food rations. No, I think I'm good for now. Tactical armor does sound interesting though. Let's go back and open this thing up with the lockpick that we found. The area does seem to be empty, both in terms of soldiers and monsters of any description. So I suppose we've got that working for us. Mind you, you never know, we could just open the wrong door and some sort of demon with 4 mouths and 27 claws comes out. You'd sort of stuff like this happens, right? Was I in here? I think I was. This is where it says there's radiation, but in reality there's like 2 or 3, which is fine. Completely missed those when I was around. Or maybe someone put them there to lure me in, but you know, that's... I think that's a little bit paranoid even for me. When my dead wife starts talking to me, I think it's time to leave.
Стань невидимкой.
Yeah, let's get out of here. Let's... I just heard something. Let's get out of here. Don't want to go in there. Just want to leave. Just want to leave so that I may show you the other part of the game. Okay, there we go. That's quite enough, I think, for our mission. We've collected food and ammunition. All is well. Alright. Alright. And my game crashed. But when I loaded back in and hit continue, this is where it spawned me, so I'm assuming everything is well. The loading took like a lot, okay? Loading in took quite a lot. There are not enough beds. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to work on that. Everyone gets to eat though, we have plenty. And then, yeah. Alright, accept. Finish food distribution, yes I do. Do we take some psyche damage? No. Alright, good. Don't have any skill points that we've accumulated. However, we should have yeah, this also is kind of weird. The icons. What's this? What's this? I can't tell what that is. I'm sorry. Like, base upgrades Igor's inventory, which is the player character, and companion's comfort. I guess companion's comfort? Light and electronics furniture wall. I'm using text to determine what all of this is, you know, that's kind of the problem. And then the beds are not in furniture. The beds, I think, are in base upgrade and then sleeping places, yeah. So, you know, it's not ideal, but it's not terrible either, I guess. It sort of depends on how you look at things. As far as this bed is concerned, it's gonna take 2 mushrooms to build. You know? Alright. The herbs effectively kill the smell of a rotting mattress and scares away the cockroaches. I suppose I understand why, but it's just a little bit weird. Anyways, regardless of the fact, let's put down 2 of these beds, and then we can finally sleep in them. So, comfort in the base is 120, which is not bad. We have 1 sleeping space. 1 sleeping space? Whatever. Ration security 0, air quality 0, power access 0. Obviously, these are all the things that we're going to need to build up over time. So there's quite a lot of missions and stuff to do. For now, I think I can go and train with Oliver.
Игорь, пистолет, который я тебе дал, долго путешествовал со мной и уже довольно старый. Предлагаю сделать инструмент для калибровки и улучшить его.
Yes.
идея. Я его сделаю, когда будет возможность.
Он тебе правда пригодится, Игорь.
And you are correct, my friend. Okay, so I guess that's what we're going to have to do next. Ultimately, I think this is all I'm going to show you from Chernobylite. I realize I haven't shown you any of the monsters. There were a few in the previous mission, just sort of passively there. I didn't... well, okay, at the very beginning... I did have the opportunity to shoot at some of them with an AK. That's the start of the game. Later, there were a few of them that sort of appeared in the corner of your eye, or you'd be walking down sort of like a staircase like this, and at the far end of the room, there'd be a monster spazzing out and like sort of moving very unnaturally on purpose, which unsettles a lot of people. To me, it's like, I don't know, it's the same as if he just walked away. It's... but I understand that really gets to some people, the sort of jerking and unnatural sort of glitchy-esque movement of some monsters and stuff like that. I think that gets to a lot of people, or to some people, but to me it was like, oh, whatever, it's just a thing. Their movement doesn't really affect me all that much. Anyways, it spasmed sort of out of existence, and then it walked around, like I went into an next room, it was there, and then it walked around the corner or whatever. Very creepy. The atmosphere contributes a lot to this. Again, we were in sort of a wooded area, so there wasn't really much around, but that creepy doll was kind of memorable. It's different when you play it. I think, can I actually grab... No, I can't actually use binoculars to look. But anyways, yeah, like... You can actually go into the more populated city area, or the radar dish or something, or the sarcophagus, or near the sarcophagus rather, or the... actual city itself. Some of the more densely urban areas. The atmosphere is really creepy. I mean, I know one person was terrified of a Lenin statue just hanging out in the middle of a fog somewhere because he couldn't really make out what it was. It's stuff like that that really gets to you. The game's really immersive, but it does have its problems. Like I said, it just crashed on me. It's a little bit wanky, a little bit jerky, if you can get past all those things. If you can get past the not ideal UI elements. The game is €27 currently. That's around $30, maybe a little bit over. It's not a AAA game. It's not, you know, it's not a $60 game. I think for this price and for this amount of content and replayability and the variety of missions, you also get more NPCs later, companions and all of that. All sorts of skills that you can unlock. These pictures are a little bit terrifying, not gonna lie. And crafting recipes and all sorts of things. Like there's a lot of content here. If you like this, then yes, I fully recommend getting the game. If not, then maybe wait around for a few more months, check the game out then. Because I have no doubt that it will receive some quality of life improvements at that point. So, yeah, it is a very, very, very good game. I really like it, and here we go. We have investigation and stuff. Projector. Oh, that's cool. Alright. Oh, Igor has his own bed. I didn't realise. I thought we would share the sleeping quarters down there. Anyways. I think that's pretty much it for now. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Go check this game out. Go pick it up if you can. Again, if you don't mind the little janky details here and there. It's really good. It's fun. And if you go into it not expecting Stalker and expecting something completely different, I think you're going to like it. What I will say is I think the vast majority of the negative reviews that this game has received has been from people that bought the game expecting to find a kind of Stalker clone. It's not that. It might have a similar feel at times, especially when you're watching, but the game is very different. Anyways, that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. Like I already said, like, subscribe down below if you enjoyed the video and want to stay tuned with the rest of the content I produce on the channel. Until next time, have fun, take care, and bye-bye. And sorry I didn't show you the monsters, but you get to see them in like the first 5 minutes of the game, so I feel like it's not the most important thing. More about the atmosphere and the actual gameplay mechanics behind everything. Thanks, have fun, bye-bye.